Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Paloma O'Toole. I am an illustrator. I'm from Spain. I live in the UK. If you just come across my channel for the first time, in these videos I am following this book, The Artist's Way, written by Julia Cameron. Each week I do the activities and I tell you how I get on with them. And if you are a returning viewer or even a subscriber, thank you so much for being back. I really appreciate you, and you make my day. So let's get started. This week is week 7. Week 7, what is it about? Let's find out. So in week 7, we are recovering a sense of connection. But connection to what? Connection to other people, connection to the universe. The clue is in the margin of the text, and when I saw it I got really excited about this quote because it's referring to the Kabbalah, and I absolutely love all things about Kabbalah. So what the quote said, I will put it up. It's basically that what we are trying to connect to is our inner soul, our truest part of who we are, and this is called in the Kabbalah Neshama, and Neshama is also connected to the middle of the Kabbalah tree, and that middle part is called Bria, and is connected to creativity. The main aspects or the main areas of that part of the Kabbalah tree are beauty, compassion, and creativity. So what we are trying to do is to connect with divine creative forces here. And how are we going to do that? First of all, if you don't know anything about the Kabbalah, what is the Kabbalah? The Kabbalah is basically a code connected to esoteric Judaism, and it's a code that it's like a geometrical form. It's also called the Kabbalah tree, and it codifies how things come into being, how things move from the spiritual realm to the physical realm. Also, it kind of explains evolution of how things emanate from God, the divine, to the material world. And it is so interesting. It's super exciting. So I have been trying to learn more about Kabbalah because I'm interested in the tarot, and whoever put the tarot together knew about Kabbalah and tried to put that information inside the cards as well. So by trying to understand Kabbalah a bit better, I'm trying to learn tarot in a deeper level as well. How can we connect to this inner soul? Let's find out. This is how. Morning pages. And morning pages, because when you're writing your morning pages, you are also connecting to that part of you that is almost asleep. I have been doing the morning pages wrong. So I started looking into how other people were doing morning pages, and I found my answer from quite an unexpected person. Apparently, Bella Hadid is doing morning pages as well, and I was quite kind of surprised about it. I felt a bit ashamed for judging her just because she's a model and she's beautiful, but when I read what she was saying about how she was doing the morning pages, I thought that was brilliant, and I started doing them exactly the same way she does. So what she said is that she leaves her phone out of her bedroom, which is a really good thing to do, and she puts her alarm up quite early in the morning. She gets up, does the morning pages, and when she's finished, she's allowed to look at her phone, and that's what I am doing now. Since then, my morning pages are working a lot better for me. Because another aspect of the inner soul is to listen and to tune in and to pay attention, and to pay attention in a kind of quiet way. Writing the morning pages has started to work for me quite a lot, and is working a lot better than before. So that is what I have changed this week. In my morning pages, I started thinking about things that I want to do or things that I want to change, and one of them was start painting more with Actor Paint. Because I'm using my iPad all the time, I work digitally, and my morning pages were saying, oh, why don't we try doing this? Why don't we use our sketchbook a bit more, and we mix different techniques, and we are a bit more adventurous, and that is another thing that I have tried. Another thing that has been working quite well for me this week has been doing affirmations. And in my affirmations, I continue saying what I want to manifest in my life, what sort of things I want to achieve, how I want to feel about my work, how I want to feel about how people receive my work. And it's been quite strange because these things actually work, and it's been spooky and scary how well they work. What I think is that by saying these affirmations and by believing them, you will start creating a bias, and instead of having a negative bias, this time is a positive one, and you start relaxing, opening up, and believing that these things are possible and they are within your grasp, and you start doing things differently because of that belief, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, when people have a bias and they have a very strong belief about something, and that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, we can do that. We can trick our brains to think that that good thing that we really want is happening. But it's not tricking our brains, because that thing that we really want, we want it because the universe wants it as well. So it's kind of our mission in life to get that, and the universe is there to help us. So we need to relax and let that energy flow through us, and we need to just let it happen, basically. So that's another thing that I've been doing in my morning pages. So I love that quote because it made me relax so much. I thought, wow, I don't have to do it perfectly. And there is a huge difference between doing something when you want it to be perfect and you are scared of making mistakes, than doing it and not caring about the result, just doing them for the joy of doing that thing. And when I was writing my morning pages, and the idea of using my sketchbook more and being more adventurous with techniques and using techniques that I haven't used for a long time started coming up, I completely went for it, and I am very happy that I did. This is one of my pages. I quite like those cherries. And this is the other page. I've had a lot of fun doing this. Also, by joining the choir and taking that weird synchronicity moment where I finally found myself singing with a score in my hand. I'm not the best singer, but I am really enjoying being part of the choir. I absolutely love the atmosphere and how accepting and how compassionate we are with each other. And I just love singing. So that has become a benchmark for me, and is allowing me to do other things and to take other risks and to allow myself to turn up even though I'm not perfect. So it's been very liberating, and I do recommend it, because when you start doing something new or something that you are not very sure about, you feel awkward, you feel weird, you feel a bit uncomfortable, but if you push through that, it's the same as in yoga. You push through that, you become more flexible, and you become more in line to who you really are. So it's been quite good. It's been a good week in that sense. That is an ugly feeling, but when you make peace with you not being perfect and you allow yourself to have ugly feelings and be a little bit ugly, then things become a lot easier, because then you recognize jealousy for what it is. It is a map. When you feel a jealous pang, that is a ticket. The universe is giving you a ticket to a destination. So I feel jealous about people in Instagram who have beautiful sketchbooks, and they flip through the sketchbook and each page is just gorgeous. I'm so jealous of that. Before, I used to push that away. I used to say, no, I'm not jealous. Those are beautiful, but I'm not jealous. But now I recognize it and I say, yes, I am jealous. And I am jealous because I want that, and I want that for me as well. And yeah, that might be a bit ugly, to feel jealous or to feel a bit envious about somebody, but think about it as it's an attraction. You want to also have that in your life. I'm also feeling quite jealous about people who have written their own books and illustrated their own books. So I know that that is one of my goals and one of my long-term destinations. That's a journey I'm already on. And another thing that I'm starting to think about quite a lot is dancing. I love dancing, but I'm horrible at dancing. Maybe it's another thing I need to start thinking about trying, so we'll see about that. But jealousy is not ugly. Jealousy is a map. Think about it as a ticket that you've bought to go somewhere. Good luck. So one of the tasks this week has been doing a bit of life archaeology, looking at your past, looking at your childhood, and uncovering, unearthing things from your childhood. Hello, Splatty. Come in. Say hello. Come in. Come in. So thinking about things that you feel that were lacking from your childhood, little pains from your childhood, and how you can integrate those. So I've been very lucky because in the course I'm taking, in the character development course, I have been doing some works that have helped me connect to my childhood quite well, and I am going to show you some time lapses. So I hope you enjoy those, and I'll talk to you about what they, where they come from, and how they connect to my activity from the artist way. Look at this gorgeous girl. She's so gorgeous. So nice, Plata. She's so guapa. Pero quiero más. Eres muy buena. Eres muy buena. I grew up in a very strict house, and we were never allowed to run around, make a lot of mess, have our toys everywhere. We were really well-behaved kids. Everywhere we went, my siblings and me, we were always praised for being very good kids, very well-behaved kids, very polite. But I think I could have just been more free and messier, and being allowed to, on a normal, regular basis, just play and be messier. And growing up, when I started reading a lot, I loved the famous five novels by Enid Blyton. That's when I started dreaming about living in England, and I dreamt of living these adventures and being able to go out and, you know, living these even dangerous adventures. So I think I felt like at home we never had enough mess or chaos. Everything was super tidy and clean. I remember once I saw a kitchen towel in the living room and I freaked out because it was so strange that something was out of place. My mother's friends were always amazed to see that she could have fragile tchotchkes everywhere within our reach, and that we were not going to wreck them because their kids were not like that. If they had something nice, like a little figurine or a delicate plate, their kids would touch it and break it, but we were not that at all. Let me put it this way. When I was 2, we moved towns and we also moved houses. I was just 2 years old and I found this bag, and for the first day that I spent in my new flat, that bag became like my favorite toy. I started the whole morning, I had that bag with me, and every time I banged it against a wall or against the floor, it made a great noise, and I loved that noise. So when my mother found me merrily smashing my bag, she stopped me and said, "Hey, what are you doing? What do you have there?" And I will spare you the details of what followed because it wasn't pretty, but let me just say that the 70s in Spain were quite different time than it is today. I never again dreamed of touching anything without asking my mother first. And do I feel a little bit of resentment? Well, yes and no, because my upbringing made me who I am now, and I have a great sense of self-discipline and I can be quite organized, but I enjoy chaos quite a lot, and I think that I also want to be messy deep down. I think that if I were to be to make mess and to be more messy, I would have been a lot happier as a kid. But then, growing up, we used to go to the countryside quite a lot. We had a little farm in the countryside, and in the summer, I was allowed to make a mess. I was allowed to have chickens and baby ducks, and I was allowed to play in the mud, roll down the hill. I loved painting, reading, and dreaming stories about ghosts. And also, we ended up having a dog. This dog was a fox terrier called Pipo, who was the loveliest and kindest dog in the universe. And although my childhood was quite strict, it was also very fun. So in this illustration that I have here, I have actually included lots of things that I used to love when I was a kid, but I never got. So one of the things that I included was, in the center you can see this little quilted like a sleeping bag where the kid is, and that sleeping bag was something similar to a toy that I always wanted growing up. I never got. Another thing that I wanted a lot were headphones and a Walkman, and also I never got them. So in this illustration I have included all the things that I wanted as a kid and I never got. I also dreamed of being able to dream that I could fly, and that never happened when I was a kid. I only started dreaming that I could fly in my 40s, so it's something that I have never been able to do. I dreamt about having or doing very weird things as a kid. So one thing that I wanted to have very badly was a cast. I wanted to have broken my arm so I could have a cast, or a broken leg so people could sign on my cast. I never broke anything, and the only thing I broke, I never got a cast. So I was quite disappointed about that. You know, kids are a bit weird, and I was no exception. I also wanted to be able to do breakdance, and I was growing up in the 80s, and that was all the rage, and I never mastered my breakdance moves. Also, there were some things that I wanted that were more for boys than for girls, so I never got any of the toys that my brother had. My brother was born when I was 5, so then I used to convince him to ask for the toys that I wanted to play with, and I used to play with him a lot. So I got that out of my system. We got really cool electric trains, and we got really cool like racing cars, you know, the Escalectric, and he also had the coolest Playmobil toys. So I really wanted all of those, and I'm so glad that I had my brother, because he got all those really amazing cool toys that I could play with. And now another thing that I really wanted growing up was one of those chopper bicycles, and I wanted a pink one, and I never got one. But then when I was older, in my 20s, I got myself a pink bike. It wasn't a chopper, but it was also quite cool, and I called her Thunder, and Thunder was an epic bike. It's not with us anymore, but yeah, I remember still Thunder. Another thing that I wanted growing up were roller skates, and I never got them, so I decided to turn this ballerina into a roller skater, and that was quite fun, and quite fun to draw as well, because growing up I tried to learn how to skate, but my coordination wasn't great, and I ended up falling down, hurting my wrists quite a lot. I hurt my back quite a lot, pulling on my bum constantly, and then I decided that roller skating wasn't for me, but I wish I had stuck to it and I had done it. I also wanted to have pink hair growing up, and obviously that was completely out of the question. And yeah, basically this illustration has lots of things that I would have liked to do. In the 80s, another thing that was big was the hula hoop, and I never managed to master that either, so I included a hula hoop here. I wanted to join the brownies or the Boy Scouts, and I didn't either, so I have included lots of badges and Boy Scout like little pins everywhere. And growing up, one of my favorite scents was grape, so I have created these images are meant to be plushies, and I have created them with the idea that they would be scented and they would have grape scent on them. And I have gone for a retro type of look, like early 80s. In the early 80s, my fashion wasn't similar to the fashion that you could see in movies and things like that. My clothes were very old-fashioned, and I wanted to have all of these bright tracksuits and bright colored clothes that I never got. But I don't care, I don't complain. Some other things that you have to do each week in morning pages is to kind of brainstorm with yourself and connect with yourself and what you like. And there's lots of making lists, which I like. One of them has been making a list of all the people that you consider your friends. So I'm gonna mention them. My friends and my best friends those are people that I know I can count with, and they are there for me. And I know that they are not gonna judge me, and I do trust them, and I would just trust them with my life. And another thing that they asked in the morning pages was to think about what you feel about the town where you live, and I love the town where I live. I think it's really cool. It has a lot of history. It's thousands of years old. It has really nice green spaces, nice shops that sell vintage stuff, and it has really nice restaurants, really nice cafes. And the best thing about my town is that it has loads of friendly cats. The most gorgeous cats in the universe live in my town, and they are all friendly. They all come and say hello to me, and I have nicknames for most of them, and I love that. My town is not very big. I think I have a very nice interspecies family. I think I'm taking more interest in music. I used to not listen to music, but now I find myself listening to music and enjoying it, and enjoying many different weird genres of music. For example, today I have been listening to Calliope music, and I find it really interesting, and it puts me in a very playful mood, and it's tiny bit of creepy, just the right amount of creepy, and I love that. I think I'm getting better at not comparing myself with other people so much, and that's very hard. And also, I'm getting better at not caring so much about being perfect or, being really, perfect. So I'm getting better at not being so perfectionist. I think my artist is getting better at not staying in the comfort zone so much and being happier, getting out of my I'm starting to feel happier about leaving my comfort zone and doing things that are a bit scarier, riskier for me as an artist. I think my self-care has improved in the way that I am doing it for myself and not for my ego. So I'm doing it more to feel good and to treat myself well than to be thin or to have nice skin or to have healthy hair or healthy whatever. I'm doing it just because I want to feel well and I want to be healthy. So that is what my self-care has changed, how it has changed and how it's improving. In a way, I am feeling more grounded I am feeling like I allow myself more to be myself and to be vulnerable, and I don't care. I don't care so much about getting hurt or not being accepted. This is making me very nervous. That's why I'm touching my face so much, because I'm opening up here, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's kind of, I feel more comfortable with being vulnerable. I think that's it. I think that my creativity, I'm starting to feel that it's not really my creativity, but that creativity is just that creativity. And it's like a TV channel that you can become a receptor for. And it's like you can get to a state where when you are quiet enough so that you can pick up that channel, or you get into a state of joy and a state of peace where you can pick up that channel, and then you start creating. That's what I'm starting to see creativity as at the moment. So this week, tasks have involved as well getting this beautiful quote. I become stronger when I treat myself as a beautiful object. I have decided to put it up here. I'm also going to paint it, and I'm going to put it into a font, a beautiful font, and I'm going to print it, but I haven't done it yet, I'm not gonna lie. So another thing that Julia Cameron is suggesting that we do is to create a collage, to get few magazines, chop them up, and create a collage of things that we would like to manifest in our lives. The book was written in the 1990s, so Julia Cameron didn't know about Pinterest. So instead of going through my magazines and doing a collage, I have decided to create a Pinterest board. Right, thank you so much for watching this video. I feel my eyes getting a bit watery. I don't know why. I've been touching it. I've been quite nervous, but why do I get so nervous? I know you guys, you're like my peeps. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I feel it's been a little bit different. I have actually scripted it, and I have tried to be more organized with everything, and I hope you like it. Let me know if you do, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being there. You are really appreciated. If you like this video, leave me a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, subscribe. And if you want to let me know about how you're getting on with morning pages, leave me a comment below. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great week next week. I'll see you again soon. And get writing your morning pages. Thank you so much. Bye guys. Bye.